Today's lesson is on how to develop an effortless, explosive, one-handed backhand. You see, there's one key to an explosive one-handed backhand, and that is that it should feel almost effortless. If you don't have an effortless feel with your one-hander, you're doing something wrong. Let me give you a couple of the fine points on how to develop this shot into an explosive one-hander. The first thing you have to remember is the swing has to be continual. I mean, initially your turn is going to be here. You're coming back relatively high with the racket. The hitting arm is slightly bent, okay? Now, once you get here, from this point, the swing is one continual motion. And what I want you to think about is showing your back shoulder to your opponent. So when I'm here, I'm going to let my opponent see that X on my back. Okay, so I'm pulling that racket back with my left hand, and my shoulder is stretching. So you've got to have loose shoulders for this shot. So your left hand's pulling the racket back, you're stretching that shoulder, and you can actually see the racket behind my back. Now look behind my back, right there. See, you can see that racket come into view. All right, so imagine you've got that X on the shoulder and you're going to give a peek to your opponent. Now, once your racket comes back, of course, you're hitting a topspin drive one-hander. The racket has to drop down. Now, as the racket drops down, so I'm here, I start to turn. Now, as the racket goes down, take a step into the ball with your lead foot, your right foot, if you're right-handed. Okay, so when I'm here and I start to pull the racket back and down, the right leg, the lead foot is going to step in. So I'm here, stepping in. And now, from here, I just release the racket, lean forward, and lift with the shot. So your legs are involved. You're using your thighs to lift forward and up into the shot. So those are the keys, and I think the biggest key is getting this pull back here that I call the rubber band effect. I've been talking about this for years, and you have to get your shoulder to be like a rubber band. Okay, so I'm pulling, see right now I'm pulling the rubber band. When you show that X to your opponent, you are pulling the rubber band. And once you pull it, then you just release it. And that's going to give you an awesome, effortless backhand. So it's kind of like when you're bringing that racket back, see, imagine that shoulder is like this rubber band. So you're pulling the shoulder back, down, and you release. And that's it. Effortless. You're not putting a lot of effort into it. So the other thing you want to have, you've got to have at least an Eastern backhand where, remember, if you use the hand, the knuckle, the inside knuckle on the index finger right here, and the heel pad right there, they have to be up on at least number 1 right there. That's an Eastern backhand grip. Okay, now if I turn my hand more this way to this panel here, the number 2 on this side, now I have a semi-Western backhand. Some of the best backhands in the world, the person that always comes to mind, Gustavo Kuerten, was over with a semi-Western backhand, and he had one of the best of all time, without a doubt. So that's also very important. You've got to have the right grip. That's going to enable the racket to be completely vertical at contact. So let's take a look at a couple of backhands. Okay, so when you come out to practice this, just turn sideways, drop the ball out in front of you. Now stand behind the baseline and drop the ball well into the court, because remember, when the racket goes down, you're stepping in. So when the racket goes down, you take that step and then you lift and drive forward and up into the shot. So it looks something like this. Okay, let's take a look in slow motion. As soon as I drop the ball, I grab the throat of the racket with my left hand to help me pull it back. Right here, I'm starting to step into the shot, and the racket is now going to drop down. It's going to come down even further. You'll see as the tape rolls there, and now I'm coming up. At the moment of contact, the legs are still lifting. The arm, the hitting arm, was fully extended. Nice high finish there. Okay, so see, I'm behind the baseline. I'm going to drop it out in front and then take that step. Okay, slow motion from another angle. Drop it out in front of the baseline. Grab the throat with my left hand. Now I'm pulling the racket back and stepping in. The racket drops down right there. Okay, the ball has just left my strings. The hitting arm is fully extended and the legs are still lifting. There's a good high finish again. Okay, slow motion from the front. Left hand grabs the throat of the racket to pull the racket back and down. Look at the X facing my opponent. You can also see the racket come into view behind my back. Now the racket's going to drop down and I'm lifting as I come into the shot. This is an effortless shot here. I'm just lifting up with a high finish. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. Give those tips a try. And remember, the key is effortless. Effortless, that's what you need if you want to develop that explosive power with your one-hander. Please give me a like, give me a thumbs up. All the best to your tennis success. Take care.